You know, you made a point this morning about, in fact,
when I badged him.
yes. Why did you do that?
Sorry.
We were doing a newspaper review, and he barged in to say half of MPs are in school. Of course, he doesn't have the facts
I
to
don't
prove
have
it.
hold on.
Yes.
Hold on.
Caleb read a story.
Caleb read a story from the Daily Graphic about a scholarship that was being facilitated by the Speaker of Parliament for members of Parliament. And when you read the details, you're quite right. The headline doesn't reflect the detail in the sense that they're saying, look, there are opportunities that this school is providing for members of Parliament. You can get some kind of professional training, some kind of degree program or diploma program at a cost that is not available to the general public. And that is the agreement that has been done. But the same, my general concern, look, Bernard, I was in the US for a while.
Yeah.
And it was, you know, the US has graduation season.
Yes, please.
Bernard.
This is last year.
This year.
This year,
Bernard. Almost every time you check, there's a Ghanaian MP graduating somewhere. I checked the one for the UK as well. And it's not like the MPs hide their graduations. They are pretty proud of it. And it's a great achievement. You are graduating with your master's, you're graduating with your PhD. But I ask myself, some of them are graduating from pretty intensive courses, pretty intensive schools, schools that you and I on a regular, you know,
you have to stop everything.
You have to stop everything you are doing to attend. But all of them, look, I'll tell you a story. When I was entering, the year I was entering Lesiad, I met Professor Kofi Komando, who was director then. And because I was pretty well known then, because I worked on Metro TV, he saw me, I was like, what are you doing here? And I was like, oh, I've been admitted. I just came to check things. My name is the number one. He said, I hope you are coming to the school full time.
Kai.
And I said, yes. He said, yes, because I don't want to see you on TV whilst you are here. That is what Professor Kofi Komado at the time told me. 2006, 2007. You understand? And the reason why I'm saying this is because his expectation was that this is too difficult for you to do and combine with TV appearances and being a journalist at the time. Although these days we do have a lot of our colleagues combine, the schools have also become a bit more flexible. They've created models and schedules that allow people to work and do this. But I am saying that if you look at some of the courses that MPs and our public officials graduate from,
while they are supposedly
working in Parliament, Bernard.
And some are even in the past. Some are ministers and MPs and still doing courses.
The other time, somebody outlined somebody says it takes over 6,000 hours to graduate law school.
So that's like the so-called something hours, credit hours.
Who knows, like just
human hours,
everything.
Okay.
How are you a full cabinet minister
and doing that course
and able to match up those hours? Yeah. And some of them are cabinet ministers whose portfolios are such that they are rarely in the country. Then you add that cabinet position with being an MP at the same time. You visit your constituency. You do this, you do that. You are in school.
So which is suffering? The MP work or the school work?
Definitely.
Okay, I want to answer. Which one? Are you worried about the quality of the degree they are getting or the quality of work they are doing?
I am worried.
Or both?
I am worried by both. You see, but more importantly, I can only be more worried by the work they are doing in the legislature because that is where my public funds go to. As for the school, it is their private affair.
Is MP work a full-time job?
Yes, Bernard.
So why are people ministers and MPs?
Look,
because minister. Wait, I'm coming somewhere. I'm not debating you. If MP requires so much attention, why does our constitution insist that half of the ministers of cabinet should come from Parliament? If MP work is that difficult, minister work is more difficult, and people are doing two.
Bernard, I can speak from a bit of personal experience. My father was a minister.
Deputy. MP.
An MP. My father was for many years the head of the Constitutional and Legal Affairs Committee of Parliament. Bernard,
You hardly,
I barely see my father.
you hardly saw him.
You see, when he comes home in the evening, the files from Parliament that he has to go through, the hands that he's going through something, he's underlining something. The man, in a week, he'll barely say 3 words to you. Because
Which means he was bringing work home.
He's bringing work home because, Bernard, between Ministry of Defense, Parliament, go to constituency. When is he going to school?
So if somebody is doing the work the way it ought to be done, they won't have time to.
It's not possible
to add school to
Bernard,
it.
when the man comes home, and I'm saying for personal experience, maybe he was very excited about being an MP, so he took the work personal.
He is easily one of the finest ever we have.
So does that mean that he did the work the way it ought to be done? But
and that's why I'm using him as an example.
As an example. Yeah, this has been said even before you.
Yes,
I know.
If I look at how my father operated as a member of Parliament,
you don't see how he could have gone to school.
There is no way my father could have taken any extra classes anywhere. It was not going to be possible. The work is very hard.
Charlie.
The work is very, very hard. Basically, every single free time he has is spent looking at a document or attending.
And the documents are big too.
They're a lot. Or attending to constituency issues. He has to go to something and come back. Then when he's done, he has to go to the ministry and do something. So how are this generation of MPs, how are they managing this miracle?
Let me be facetious. They released the list last 2 weeks of empty absenteeism. And there were quite a lot who had tempted themselves a lot. So maybe there's a correlation between absenteeism and studying
I am coming to that, you see,
extra courses.
Because a lot of the MPs, when the speaker and others who monitor absenteeism have spoken about, oh, you are not spending enough time in Parliament. They have always said that, oh, it is because we have to spend time in our constituencies. That has always been the excuse. And that because of some of them, the distances they have to cover and whatnot. So the excuse has always been, so if you have to spend long hours in your constituency and it doesn't allow you to come to Parliament, what other extra hours are you finding in your already busy day to make up school hours? And that is why we also end up perhaps querying the school heads. That are you sure these people are attending the school properly, or you are simply happy to have members of Parliament in your classrooms? Because that is also another question we must ask.
So you are also concerned about a course that can accommodate the busy schedule of an MP, because an MP has weekend visitations in his constituency. So even if you are doing weekend courses, it may not benefit MPs.
Bernard.
So they are clearly using parliamentary time to study.
There are MPs graduating from LSE.
Oxford. Let's
Harvard.
ask the Oxford guy his
Columbia.
experience at
I'm
Oxford.
coming, let me finish.
To
Columbia,
see whether it's possible.
Oxford.
No, I know.
Hold on
Yes.
for me, Bernard.
Go ahead. No, I'm
asked me to come.
Go ahead. No, I'm enjoying you.
Duke.
Rice,
INSEAD.
high level
They are
schools.
graduating from all kinds of schools, and most of them are not running online models. They go in person.
It's modular.
So
You go for 3 weeks.
how are you
intensive.
attending school in France,
Yeah,
Switzerland,
yeah,
England,
yeah,
US,
Yeah.
in person,
yeah,
being in Parliament,
yeah.
go to constituency, and be an effective member of Parliament? It's something that we must ask. our members of Parliament.
Devil's advocate.
Okay.
I did an MBA at Warwick. It was a full-time MBA, so we did it for like 14 months or whatever.
Yes.
I don't know, whatever.
Yes.
There were people in our class who we met once every quarter. They were also doing a Warwick MBA, but they were doing the modular MBA.
Yes.
They were mostly high-level business leaders who were very busy. So what would they do? We went in September, sat in class till December, wrote exams, broke and came back, I think, in February and continued. They would come in 2 weeks in December and do class every day.
Yes.
So they would do class morning till evening. Then they would do group assignments, intensive. So they did maybe Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Then Friday is group discussion. Saturday they go out to have a meeting to do their project work. They submit. Then Monday they continue. So the 2.5 weeks they come, they do a lot of work. So it was designed as a modular program for busy executives. I suspect, again, I'm playing the devil's advocate here. I suspect that the MPs may be opting for the modular programs. So they go and maybe 2 intensive weeks, they do coursework, they do research, and then they come back home.
Perhaps.
That what I wanted to ask Kai was that when you go for the 2 weeks or 3 weeks, when you leave, do they give you homework, or when you finish, you finish?
No, of course you have homework.
Your homework.
So it's not just the 2 weeks you spend there.
No. I mean, the 2 weeks is just for interfacing with your lecturers, attending lectures intensively, and then also doing class assignments immediately. But as you're leaving, there are specific readings that you must do.
So even when you are not on campus and you've gone back to your country, you are doing work.
Exactly. And then also there are online components that you would have to do in order to meet the demand on hours. So I think Akoto is raising very valid points. In any proper jurisdiction, people would want to activate, for instance, the RTI request that deals with these matters specifically. Sometimes maybe if she spoke about a cabinet minister, who ideally spends the majority of the time outside the country, yet able to graduate from a particular course that requires that you should make a certain number of hours and you should attend classes a number of times. Now, can we send an RTI request to the school to ask, okay, can you account for A, B, C, D? And then the same to Parliament to ask questions about it. I think he's raised very
Let me ask you based on your experience. You've covered Parliament for 20 years and you also have studied. Every time you had to study, you had to either go away full time or when you're away, when I even send you text, you don't mind me.
Don't mind you.
Okay, so what I wanted to ask was, is it possible for an MP to be effective and also do a course as seriously as you did yours?
I doubt that.
It's not going to be possible.
It's not possible.
You can't serve two masters.
It's not
you
possible. One will certainly suffer unless you have someone who is deputy MP, either doing the deputy MP job for you, or doing the assignment for you, or doing something else.
Something must give.
Something must give.
Let me come back to you. Akakra has an article that will be read.
Ask a question.
Please go ahead.
This question out there that if MPs and ministers are using part of the Republic's time to pursue their education, when it comes to their salaries and remuneration, are they getting that in full as well, or they're going to get part, since it appears that they may be doing part of the work?
You have thrown an innocent question, but it's a very serious question.
And to add to that,
and we all know the answer.
Bernard, Ghanaians listen closely to their vettings.
Yes.
Ministers. Everybody listens. Now, do an exercise with me and our listeners as well. You can help. Cast your mind back. You will realize that if you pay attention to the vetting and they are going through CVs, a lot of the MPs, the period of higher education occurs when they are in Parliament.
It coincides with the time they are in Parliament.
Yes.
Sometimes it's even Gimpa.
Yes. Almost all of them, most of those who appear before, they'll tell you, oh, Gimpa, at this time, they're in Parliament during that period. So I ask myself, okay, some of you would have had a 10-year period, some of them a 10-year break between when they finished perhaps their first degree and their masters. So there was no incentive or motivation for you to pursue your masters or doctoral during that period, but as soon as you enter Parliament, you suddenly find the incentive to go and pursue higher education. Did you realize that?
So is it that it's when they become MP that they have their means?
Time?
No, hold on. Could it be that when you become MP, maybe you have enough money to pay for some of the courses, or the schools run specific programs for MPs? That's why when they become parliamentarians, they rather go and take those courses?
See, admittedly, there are schools that offer modular programs, as you've stated. And those programs are structured in a way as to accommodate, people who are very busy, but still can afford to save some time to come and study, right? For a certain period, go back home, do the assignments and related works and reading, while still being effective at their respective, in their respective offices. Then you also have people who come to Parliament on CVs that are not so weighty, right? And then
they want to boost. They want to boost
their
CV while they are in Parliament.
I don't know about that.
There are a lot of those.
Then they want to. Because normally when new governments come, they ask you bring your CV. If you are going with O-level CV, you are less likely to get a ministerial job.
Will cook something for you quickly.
So you see, it's about making the time honoring your responsibilities as a student, and then ensure that you have earned the certificate in
But
question.
shouldn't you qualify before you get to the position?
Exactly.
Or you're now in the position and now you are looking
You are
to
learning.
backdate your qualification. No, are we serious with the country's work?
Bernard, let me say this.
Oh,
Look, sitting here, right, I would not say that there is anything globally wrong.
We haven't
with-
said so.
No, let me make that point. With a member of parliament being alive to his responsibilities as an MP, a representative of the people, making sure that his legislative duties don't suffer, and yet making the time to attend lectures as and when necessary, and submitting his assignments to ensure that he gains the necessary qualification, right? You must hold that delicate balance, right? If you are able to share your responsibilities properly, so that you can satisfy all of these masters in a passable manner, your constituents are happy, the Republic of Ghana is happy, and your school is happy.
but you said
well,
already that it's not possible.
Of course,
It's highly unlikely that a member of
relative
parliament...
to me.
Oh, Sky.
You know why? Because anything I put my hand to, I want to do it like as I want to put my best foot forward.
Should we not...
The question is whether...
Should the speaker not say that when you become an MP, focus on being MP and don't go to school, and that if you are going to take a course, it must be a parliamentary sanctioned course. So maybe Parliament will say, for a weekend, we are doing something with GIMPA, or we are going to Ho for a workshop. So there's on-the-job training. But privately started school programs must all be stopped when you become an MP. Because a lot of people are using the MP thing, not because they want to be MPs, they want opportunity. They are looking for business deals, they are looking for stuff. And when they are not getting it, then they go to school. So maybe we should make rules to prevent these things from happening.
But we have the rules.
So the rules are there that, for instance, you should not absent yourself from the house for 15 sitting days continuous, right? It's part of, so if you look at Article 97 1C of the Constitution, it says the member of parliament shall vacate his seat if he's absent without the permission in writing of the speaker, and he is unable to offer a reasonable explanation to the Parliamentary Committee on Privileges from 15 sittings of a meeting of Parliament during any period that Parliament has been summoned to meet and continues to meet. Now,
Sky, if I can respectfully add,
Okay.
the Constitution makes provision against conflict of interest.
that's true.
Article 284 requires that a public officer doesn't place himself in a position where his personal interest will become a problem for the public office, the performance of that public office.
That's valid.
But if, without sounding antagonistic, if it appears that we are pursuing public office for personal gain, that is in violation of the Constitution.
So, broadly speaking, yeah. But if you look at the language of the provision I just read, there's a caveat there. There's an exclusion there that where the speaker authorizes that you are free to go, right? You are entitled to absent yourself for 15 days. But it is expected that the speaker, in exercising that discretion, will be reasonable. Is this in the interest of the Republic? Would the good people of my constituency be properly served if I'm, 30 days in Oxford, studying, and not having full engagement with my constituents and, of course, my job as a member of parliament? So that is a question that the speaker must answer. And then also, where you are hauled before the Privileges Committee because the Constitution says so, to explain how come you have spent so much time in LSE or maybe Cornell doing...
By the way, who's paying for these courses?
So you've seen in the past that in some cases the government of Ghana paid from them.
Scholarship Secretariat.
We saw the list.
So you are an MP, and then because of your closeness to power, Scholarship Secretariat now gives you a scholarship to go and
to
pursue
improve
a
yourself.
course abroad.
And most of them
Meanwhile,
are
there are
studying
poor
governance.
students. There are poor students who can't pay their school fees.
Yeah, so
Is that why the Scholarship Secretariat we are saying needs to be overhauled, right? I think there was
They
a
just
time.
passed the bill yesterday.
There was a time where people were
No,
getting
last
scholarships.
week, last week.
They were giving scholarships to MPs to do leadership programs at Harvard and things.
yeah, but those who be beneficial wouldn't be.
Oh, come on. What was the purpose of the Get Fund? What was the purpose of the scholarship? Was it to give scholarship to ministers to go and study at our expense? It was meant as a safety net for poor people.
So is a member of parliament
Not poor.
not?
No,
You are saying that we don't have
no,
more
no,
MPs.
no, to offer
Please,
yourself.
Ghana, don't
no,
come for me.
no,
I'm just asking
to
very
offer yourself
legitimate
to be
question.
MP. To offer yourself to be MP, the presumption is that you've led and you've understood leadership to a certain point.
Yes.
If we now put you in parliament and give you all the privilege and now use our taxpayer money to pay your school fees, go and learn leadership in Harvard, come on.
They talk about self-improvement.
So why should self-improvement be at the expense of the state?
That leadership is not
Of the
static.
state's time and money.
There are new forms of doing things
So prepare yourself.
before you come.
Yes.
Yes.
So that
Prepare yourself. If you want on-the-job training, there are things they do. They went to do a budget roundtable last weekend. There are so many learning opportunities. I think that people don't take parliament seriously. I think some people take it as an opportunity to better themselves and make money. And when they get there and realize that there's no money to be made or it's more difficult to make money, the next option is that let me improve myself so that I wouldn't have wasted my time. There's an article written by my good friend Hene Kwapon. I interviewed him a couple of times. And it's an article that's...
We'll share it on our website.
Yeah, it says, we are losing the people's house, but the children give us hope. I don't know if you want to read it for us.
It says, what unfolded during the budget presentation was not an odd moment of misbehavior. It was a symptom of a legislature that has lost its sense of institutional purpose. The spectacle was visible to anyone who cared to look. A man seated directly behind Finance Minister Kasia Olato-Forson carrying on running commentary as if the chamber were a lorry station. Late arrivals entering with the bustle of people joining an outdoor event, and MPs laughing and chatting audibly while the nation's fiscal direction was being articulated. This is not a democracy struggling with youthful growing pains. This is an institution that has stopped taking itself seriously. The larger context matters. Ghana's parliament meets roughly 80 to 100 days per year, which is on the lower end even for African legislatures. Yet, despite this relatively light legislative calendar, attendance during major addresses routinely fluctuates to below full capacity, and disciplinary actions for misconduct are nearly non-existent. In the Fourth Republic's 30 years, Parliament has invoked its most serious disciplinary sanction, suspension, fewer than a handful of times. Compare that with the British House of Commons, where dozens of MPs have been named, suspended, or removed from the chamber over the same period for breaches far milder than the Ghanaian norm. The contrast is not cultural. It is institutional. And here, we must address the uncomfortable truths. The Speaker of Parliament, Alban Bagbin, has not elevated the standard. His leadership frequently drifts towards theatricality. Instead of anchoring seriousness, he injects spectacle. His fixation on attire, wardrobe experimentation, and public emphasis on sartorial expression has turned the speakership into a personalized performance. The chamber increasingly reflects this looseness. The institution's rituals begin to resemble a stage, not a legislature. When MPs appear in fashions suitable for social outings rather than governance, they are responding to cues from the top. In 2021, during a heated sit-in, MPs broke into group singing, Samamu in the chamber. It was rationalized publicly as tradition. Yet, no functioning legislature on record, neither South Africa's National Assembly nor Kenya's Parliament nor the British Commons, permits spontaneous choral performance during parliamentary business. It's not culture, it's rudeness, the ritualization of unseriousness. That same evening, two MPs engaged in a physical melee over the Speaker's chair. These are not isolated events, they are parts of the same story. What makes this misalignment more painful is how rigorously Ghana enforces standards elsewhere. More than 900,000 students sit in secondary schools across the country under the strict codes of discipline. Haircut policies are enforced daily. Students at Achimota School, Presec, Wesley Girls, and countless others have faced sanctions for uniform violations or grooming infractions. UPSA students were recently admonished publicly for inappropriate dressing, with the university insisting that professionalism begins with comportment and appearance. In many of these institutions, lateness triggers detention. Talking during assembly can lead to punishment. Children, in other words, live in a universe of rules. Meanwhile, the adults who write the national laws inhabit a chamber where rules bend to convenience, costume, mood, and personality. That is the most corrosive part. A society's governing class cannot demand discipline from its youth while modeling indiscipline at the top. Norms flow downward. When Parliament cannot discipline itself, it inadvertently licenses broader public disorder. Against this backdrop, Finance Minister Kasiel Atuforsen's own presentation style was a rare nod to normal statecraft, business formal attire, quiet presence, and respect for the solemnity of the occasion. This should be the baseline. Instead, it stood out only because the surrounding environment had sunk so far beneath the threshold of professional expectation. Consider the empirical implications. Countries with strong legislative discipline tend to exhibit more stable fiscal performance. The OECD has repeatedly documented that parliaments with coherent rules, predictable procedure, and high behavioral standards are associated with better budget scrutiny and lower variance between projected and actual expenditures. Ghana, by contrast, has experienced persistent expenditure overruns averaging between 2 and 3% of the GDP annually over the past decade. One cannot draw a neat causal arrow. One cannot draw a neat causal arrow, but the correlation should unsettle anyone who cares about governance. A legislature that cannot maintain order cannot maintain oversight. Oversight collapses, waste rises. The deeper indictment is structural. Parliament is meant to be the anchor of democratic culture. Instead, it has become a case study in how institutional decay expresses itself, first in symbols, then in behavior, then in outcomes. When the Speaker presents the chamber as an arena of personal flair, MPs respond in kind. When MPs sing, banter, wonder, and laugh through national business, they signal that governance is secondary to performance. And when school children are better behaved than lawmakers, the Republic has inverted its own moral hierarchy. The People's House deserves seriousness. It deserves leadership that understands that attire is not entertainment, that ritual is not improvisation, and that the budget presentation is not a weekend gathering. What we witnessed was not merely embarrassing, it was diagnostic. A legislature that cannot respect its own work cannot command the respect of the nation. Until Parliament restores standards, and here real standards, not symbolic posturing, Ghana will continue to pay the institutional price of a political class that has forgotten the meaning of the roles it holds. Hene Aku Kwapon, CDD Ghana Fellow.
8:55, that was an article that brings everything home. We'll reflect on it, read some comments on the whole issue of MPs schooling at the same time. And by the way, it's not just MPs. I'm told chief executives,
all of them, Bernard,
all
a lot
kinds
of the
state
public
officials.
And sometimes it's interesting for me because, again, I tend to use my own personal experiences because that is what I know.
Mm-hmm.
When I was in school,
Mm-hmm.
okay, for instance, when the ministry sends a staff for their master's degree, it was full-time at the time. These days, I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
But they wouldn't allow you are still staff of the ministry, but you're a full-time student until you are done with your program, and then you go back to your ministry. Okay. And I've seen a couple of messages from, civil servants and co here who say, look, even they struggle with it. So how are the MPs able to make the hours and the combinations?
Here's an interesting comment that will challenge you. I'm surprised with the comments from you and your colleagues today. Education can be pursued at any given point in time. And MPs also have the right to go to school, even as MPs. So a lot of donor partners and embassies offer government officials education opportunities at subsidized rates or completely free, which I think is great. So it's not personal interest. It's also good for us if our MPs go to school. We want our MPs from the grassroots yet get upset when they want to better themselves to serve the nation.
Yeah. But my pushback to that message, though, is nobody has, again, said the MP should not go to school. The point is, so
at what time?
At what time does the MP go to school?
Go to school before you get to Parliament, not when you're in Parliament.
Because so the partnership that are put into play by our developmental partners and whatnot are not designed to remove the MP from the business of lawmaking. They know democracy pretty well to know that the MP is supposed to function within certain times. Now, if we even did an analysis of and I'm happy Sky is here, the period that our members of parliament spent when they break down their sittings, if you compare it to some of the parliaments of democracies that we are at par with, ours is pretty low.
Yeah, he said it.
Yeah, that's fair.
Ours is pretty low. So already you have parliamentarians whose work hours are low as compared to their peers.
80 to 100 days a year.
Who then in that low period find time to attend school and graduate at the same time as people who are doing it full time and graduate properly, visit their constituencies within that same period, and
serve as ministers.
Sometimes because
half of the
and half of them are from parliament. So we have a chunk of those as well. If you don't question this and think and only see this as an opportunity to improve themselves, then I'm sorry, then you are perhaps not looking for quality legislative
at all
action in our country.
At all.
But how about if there's delegation, properly so called, of a particular function?
Yes.
So you have someone in the constituency who is acting for and on your behalf.
Can you delegate your legislative work? Can I go and sit for your MP
in
Parliament?
Why
on the Public Accounts Committee?
Why are you pushing? It's about scheduling, right?
No, bro. Sky.
No, Bernard,
our society we require the people to take
Bernard, look, you see, I think we also have to be fair to the MPs, right? It may not be all of them who are abusing these ones. Yeah. You understand? There may be people who have properly scheduled their dealings in a way as to passably satisfy all the constituencies, right? So that you discuss with your supervisor, if it is PhD, that look, you are unable to come at a particular time, but you compensate for it at this particular time, and then you seek the necessary permission to be able to do that, while your constituents are properly satisfied, or maybe it is evening scheduling that you do, or weekend scheduling that you do, and you are not using the taxi. It is also possible. So
that's the idea.
I'm just saying.
The second and third year of ask anybody who has gone through a PhD.
That's the worst.
The second and third year of a PhD, if you're able to combine it with proper legislative work,
then you are strong.
Hey!
Let's read some comments. Sky, it's not like you know. Let's read some comments.
That is why an MP can say that the COVID-19 levy, which the minister announced in the 2025 budget, was still being charged. Many of the MPs don't even know the rules in Parliament. Hello, Bernard and team. I understand Godfred's concern perfectly. It's either our MPs are exceptionally brilliant or the courses are not that intense. This is because even part-time courses with work over here can be so overwhelming and tiring for courses not related to the law. But our MPs and ministers are graduating day in, day out from law. Maybe we have exceptionally brilliant MPs. That's from Daniel.
Oh, really?
Kojo in East Legon Hill says, good morning, Bernard. Don't forget how high-ranking politicians also get scholarships to study. It's no surprise they go for all these higher qualifications when they become MPs. Michael says, does the same issue apply to civil service and private companies? People get employed, yet they find time to upgrade their degrees. It does affect their effectiveness in their respective offices. I'm currently enrolled in a master's program at University of Ghana with at least 4 MPs. They hardly show up for lectures and assignments, but I can guarantee they will complete next year admirably.
They don't come for lectures?
No. or
Really?
assignments. Or
Read
do
that version
assignments.
again.
Go, move on, move
So
on.
he
No,
says
read it
they
again.
hold on. They hardly show up for lectures and assignments, but I can guarantee they will complete next year admirably. They are definitely not showing up for school nor in parliament, so where do they go?
We wonder.
No, hold on. Read the comment again.
Oh, Sky,
No,
they've
read
read
the
it 2
comment.
times.
No,
It's
read
okay.
it again. I want to read it again.
Can I proceed?
Please
Yes.
proceed.
So Josh in Tamale says, hello Bernard, why should an MP earn fat salary, get scholarship to still go outside for education while parliament is still in session? The common public sector worker will suffer to even get a study leave for self-improvement. No scholarship or support for them. Parliament needs a reset.
Yeah.
Valid point from Godfred Akoto. This is the reason why the public is questioning the degrees and PhDs of these MPs. On the other hand, I also blame the public. Higher academic qualifications should not be the basis for which an MP should be voted. Politicians are organizers of the masses and not necessarily a well-educated person.
Really?
Even within our various ministries, our political appointees rely on the directors for advice. Good morning, City FM. Nana sent that from Oyarifa. This person is asking, please, can you share the article Caleb read? Kwamensa in Spintex says, Bernard and team, MPs leaving parliament to go to school or university just exposes how bankrupt our country is. Does it mean these MPs were not fit for purpose and are now struggling to go to the university? Ghana seems like we are doomed if you see the way things are happening. Michael from Ho says, Bernard and team, I hardly see or hear my MP talk in parliament. I mean, former MP for Ho, somewhere in Ho.
Okay.
Anyway, so that's Michael from Ho. Bernard, please, I suggest we start paying them like the public or civil servants and take them from the Article 71 office holders.
Here's a comment here that I want to read. Okay, so it says that the name is Godwin. It says, in Ghana, MPs are entitled to certain privileges and resources to carry out their official duties, including education and outreach programs. However, the use of state resources and time to attend schools should be guided by the principles of transparency, accountability, and public interest. If the MPs' attendance at schools is part of their constituency work, engaging with constituents or promoting education and national development, it could be seen as a legitimate use of state resources. However, if the attendance is for personal gain, political campaigning, or other non-public purposes, it might be considered an abuse of office. Ghana's constitution and parliamentary rules regulate MPs' conduct and use of state resources. MPs are expected to adhere to these guidelines and ensure the actions serve the public interest. However, in UK, an MP going to school will make national news because as an MP, you are expected to hold the necessary qualifications before becoming a member of parliament. It is coming in from Godwin J. Jemfi, who is a private legal practitioner listening to us